For Vancouver's first Indy race. The father and son team of Mario and Michael Andretti, along with such racing legends as A.J. Foyt and Al Unser Jr., completed time trials today to qualify for tomorrow's race. Rubbing tires with the greats in the practice laps is a local driver making his debut as an Indy driver in his hometown.
Michael Andretti, Danny Sullivan, Emerson Fittipaldi. Vancouver's first Indy race will see the world's top drivers vying for $1 million purse. Unknown among these greats is number 27, Vancouver's own Ross Bentley, making his debut on a hastily constructed hometown track.
You look in the mirror and you see an Andretti or Unser come up behind you, you're kind of like, yeah, I can give this guy some room.
The Spirit of Vancouver is a non-profit society set up to raise money in order to rent Indy wheels and a full crew for Ross Bentley. Bold step to go and rent a car and a whole crew to race in your hometown.
Well, it's something that I've been trying to do. Been trying to get into IndyCar racing for a few years now, and it's just, you know, the fact that we've got a race here, it's made all the difference.
Indy race packages were sold to individuals before corporate sponsors came on board in a deal that Robin Bentley says was at the 11th hour.
It's been a little stressful up until now, and we finally got to where we want to be. And now we're just looking forward to the race.
The crew adjusts the car to suit Ross Bentley between time trials. If the car and driver don't perform, they don't race on Sunday.
It's a Cosworth engine that has just over 700 horsepower. Suspension-wise, it's got a pushrod system front and rear, Coney dampers. There's a multitude of adjustments which you can do for every track. And for a driver like Ross, it comes down to probably a lot of sleep time. So as this race meeting's going on, he's learning more and more about the car. So conditions change and his driving style changes with experience of driving.
Ross Bentley failed to qualify on Friday with the slowest time of the day. Now it is do it or lose the dream.
These cars are really, really hard work, and you really got to be on the ball. There's no place to relax anywhere around the track, and you got to keep your eyes in the mirrors for some of the faster guys.
The local hope finally qualifies, although barely.
Just never really got a good lap in, and when I thought I could get a good lap, some traffic would be around or something like that. So got to learn how to deal with the traffic a little better too.
Are you going to continue to work on the car to adjust it to your own liking?
Yeah, we're gonna make some more changes and see if it works a little better.
So Ross Bentley, who makes his living as a race car driving instructor, gets a chance at the ultimate challenge to get his Indy speed up to that of the big guys.
Yes, it's noisy, and despite what promoters say, the fumes from all those high-powered engines aren't going to help the Lower Mainland's air quality one little bit. Opponents of Molson's Indy have mustered a lot of arguments as to why the race shouldn't be held in downtown Vancouver. Road closures that inconvenience the public and the morality of a liquor company sponsoring a high-speed motor event at a time when there's a concerned campaign to stamp out drunk driving are among those arguments. But today, as thousands of enthusiastic Indy fans turned out to view pre-race warm-ups and practice runs, the critics were few and far between.
Great. Thank you. Have a good day.
It's like Expo all over again. Thousands shelling out hard cash and just to watch the qualifying runs and warm-ups. Though not everyone elected to pay for the privilege. What's a stiff neck if you can save $10 to see the action? It takes careful scouting to find good off-site locations, but the extra effort pays dividends.
Beat the traffic, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So you just spend the night in here, and then tomorrow morning you'll be right across the street?
That's right. Back and forth, maybe get some hot dogs, cook them up here instead of buying them there, you know, cheaper.
Up we go. We go as high as 34 feet.
Ingenuity pays. These businessmen set up their own viewing stand for customers, a neat combination of good PR and self-indulgence.
So you can see we got a pretty good view. We got the racers coming around this corner over here, the hairpin turn. And then they come smoking around the turn and it goes back up again to the high speed.
But not everyone loves Molson's Indy Vancouver. Almost lost in the varoom of high-speed engines are the voices of those worried about the kind of image and role model projected by events like this.
What I'm protesting principally is the fact that this sets an example for people who buy sporty cars and do jackrabbit starts and speed when they can and create accidents and a lot more pollution than is necessary.
And then there's the question of inconvenience, closures of some roads and bridges and hazards created by motorists blocking traffic for a free look. The viaduct walkway is closed to pedestrians. Does that include cyclists? It's ironic an event promoting high-speed motor travel blocks traffic.
In the most heavily congested area of downtown Vancouver, they put on this kind of an event. I've got all kinds of phone calls from people complaining bitterly about the noise.
Erickson says the events should have been held at Westwood Racetrack in Coquitlam, but it was closed. One rationale, buyers of the new homes nearby would object to the noise and air pollution from racing cars. He blames City Council.
They've had our charter changed in order to allow the race. They've disregarding the noise bylaws in order to have this race. And at the same time, the same council and the members of this council are supporting the closure of the other track.
Now it's on to the Molson Indy Vancouver. Tomorrow we'll have the event.
Erickson says the provincial government bent its own rules by allowing a liquor company to sponsor an event requiring a high degree of skill. Victoria has rules concerning advertising associating drinking with driving.
The provincial government had some very clear directives on advertising. They said advertising must not associate the consumption of a product or a particular brand with the driving of a vehicle, etc.
The critics summon a lot of logic and common sense. But what do the fans say? Some people have complained about the noise of this thing.
I think for a weekend you can put up with it. There's no real problem.
Oh, I think it's ridiculous. For a world event like this, people should be a little more sympathetic.
It's only a few days. What's the big deal? Besides, it's a long weekend. Not too many people are going to work or anything anyhow.
So for now and 2 more years, Molson's Indy Vancouver will continue to confound the critics and draw the crowds of paying and freeloading fans.
Still ahead on the NewsHour, Terry Fox's historic run ended 10 years ago in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Today, his parents and thousands of other...
Thank you, Elaine. And if today was any indication, fans are in for a great race at tomorrow's Vancouver Molson Indy. The weather was great for a change, and that produced a very hectic final day of qualifying for the biggest motorsport event in the history of BC auto racing. It went right down to the last 5 minutes of qualification before the pole sitter was decided. As for surprises, well, there really weren't any.
The sun finally came out this afternoon on the course for the Molson Indy, making a dramatic difference in the qualifying times from yesterday. Michael Andretti had the fastest time yesterday in the rain with a speed of 94.2. But this afternoon, the drivers went all out. Danny Sullivan had the fastest time of 98.3 for the majority of the laps. But right at the very end, Michael Andretti overtook him and recorded a lap time of 62.2 with a speed of 98.5 miles per hour.
And we were just eating away at it and chipping, and just really had to grab way down deep to get that one, just about bouncing off all the walls to get it. And Danny really made us work hard for this one.
So Michael Andretti takes the pole for the 3rd time this season, and each one of those times he went on to win the race. Danny Sullivan gets his 5th front row start of the season. Then it's Bobby Rahal and Indy 500 champion Ari Luyendyk. After them, it's Emerson Fittipaldi and Al Unser Jr., who will be looking for his 4th win in a row. Rick Mears and Michael's father will be behind them. And finishing in 9th spot is Toronto's Scott Goodyear, giving him one of his best starting positions of his career.
This track demands a lot of work. It really works the car very hard. It works the driver, and I think for as many laps as we're going to run here for the event, there's no room for error, and you have to make sure that you're really on top of it every lap, because there's not a lot of forgetting places here.
Racing starts tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning with the Indy cars on the track for their race at 1:30.
As for local racer Ross Bentley, the 33-year-old driver took his rented Lola Cosworth around the course at an average speed of over 87 miles an hour. That was more than 10 miles an hour slower than Michael Andretti and the slowest of all 26 cars attempting to qualify. But Ross will get his chance to compete in his first IndyCar race thanks to the promoter.
Get into the top 10, but it's, that's just gonna, we're gonna have to have some luck on our side to do that.
Are you happy with how you've done the qualifying rounds?
I'm not really pleased with the qualifying. I guess the frustrating part was that in the rain yesterday morning we were 12th fastest, and now we're whatever 26th or something like this. It's like maybe it would have been great if it rained all weekend.
Also today, Claude Brevenet of Quebec won the Players Formula Atlantic race. After the race, though, his car was declared illegal, and while he was the winner, he received no money or points. Bob McGregor was 11th, Frank Allers 13th. And that's it for now. Back with a highlight.